Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to the Project Grow Radio Show. I'm your host, Adrian Boycell, and I'm just excited to be here for another week with you guys. I'm actually live here in studio and just really excited. I got a lot planned for you, got a lot of information, and where I normally have guests, I like to switch it up and do things differently each week. And this week I'm actually doing the show solo. So this is a solo show. I do have a good friend of mine here in the studio with me. Mike Sharp is a great guy, has worked in radio and has been, got a lot of experience in it. So I'm working together with him to really set up my studio at my office a lot better and just make some improvements there to get the show set up so I can produce from my own studio, which is going to be really, really awesome. And I can have guests in there, and it's just going to be an awesome thing. So I got a lot to cover, a lot of information I want to go over with you guys today. Today's topic for the show is going to be coaching versus consulting and leadership. So I've got a lot prepared, a lot on my mind, a lot on my heart, and it's been a busy, busy few weeks. Just at the office alone, we have a dozen websites on our plate, on top of about 5 or 6 branding projects, some app development that we're doing, just a lot of different projects. So it's been very busy around the office and trying to fit in time to plan for the show and write out content and come up with what I want to talk about and have time to pray and also have some fun, which is a big part of who I am. I'm trying to have more fun in my life, and a lot of people don't see what I do for a living as fun. They just see it as work. But what I do for a living every day is helping business owners and helping at-risk youth and helping people that are in the business world is really my passion. It's something that is beyond a hobby for me. It's something I'm really, really passionate about. And so it's not really work. I have long days and stressful days dealing with difficult situations and crises and fires that I have to put out. But the show is just such an important part of my life and what I'm doing, not just in work, but in ministry as well. So discipling others is really a big part of who I am. So coaching is definitely something that I've kind of been working in and dabbling in, and I've taken some certified coaching courses with Giver Marketing. If you've heard me on the air talking with Timothy Morgan, talking about Giver Marketing and coaching and all those things that we're doing with him. And so he has a 4-step course that we do to go out to businesses and take them through the process and basically lead these people into how to come up with solutions to the problems that they have on their own. And so that's really a big part of coaching and doing coaching for businesses. Is 75% of the time that you're spending with a coach is the coach, you talking to the coach and explaining what your problems are, and then the other time is him actually partnering with you and going through that process. So consulting is a completely different thing, and so a lot of people tie those two in together, and I see people on their Facebook pages and their LinkedIn pages saying certified coach and business coach, and so but a lot of the stuff they talk about and the content they talk about is very technical stuff. And that's not coaching. Coaches basically partner with you. So I'm going to read a little bit of the notes that I have here that I wrote down that was just stuff that I felt was just really critical points. So like I said, coaching is 70, people that are coaching are letting the customer and letting their person talk 75% of the time. And consulting is somewhere where you do most of the talking. And so the coach is asking specific questions with a specific result in mind. And consulting is actually teaching someone about a specific skill. So that consultant is an expert, whether it's internet marketing or graphic design or printing. There's consultants in all different spaces, and executive business consultants, and so there's different coaches in the financing space. So depending on what you're doing, when you coach someone, you're actually partnering with them to find the root of the issue or the challenge by asking them the questions that will lead them to the answer. So you want them to go find the answers themselves. And when you consult, you're advising, and you're basically the most skilled person in the room. You're kind of have the hierarchy essentially in a specific area. And so coaches don't need to have that hierarchy. They're peer-to-peer, where they're basically just leading you through a system of processes. So coaches don't have the answers. They have the questions and the process to help you find the answers. And so that coach is going to help you stay on track. With a consultant, the consultant is the problem solver. So you're normally going to hire a consultant for your business to solve a specific problem that you have in your business, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's taxes, whatever that area in your business that you're having a problem with, that's what you're hiring them for. So they're also going to be the leader and the expert in there. So you're leaning on them to get the information to show you how to do that. So that's a really, really important part of coaching. So what I have kind of going on at the office right now is we've been evolving as a company for the past 3 years that we've been at our office location in Granite Bay. We've been evolving as a business, and where I started 12 years ago as a graphic designer, just doing it as a hobby and part-time, for family and for small companies and businesses, that has completely changed. So when I started my corporation, my plan was to basically have that corporation to protect my career and what I'm doing for a living, and just keep continuing to build my graphic design and branding career, because branding is a really big part of what I do. Well, over the years, I've been mentored and coached, and I've taken coaching classes and I've taken mentoring classes, and I've really evolved my skills to more of a marketing consultant. And about 5 years ago, I was mentored by an actual strategist who had his doctorate and his master's degree, and he was also an attorney. And he mentored me and really showed me how to approach business, not just from my creative standpoint, but from the strategic standpoint of a scientific standpoint. So I've been doing that now for the last 5 years and really learning and evolving my skills there. So what I've really become is I'm one of those people that the ideas fly very easily to me. They come to me often when I'm hearing about people's businesses and what they're going through and how they're trying to grow. And I'm really good at coming up with solutions naturally, just from the experience that I have and what I've been doing. But I've also learned the strategic side and the scientific side of things. So we've been evolving as a company. I've helped companies take their music apps and completely evolve it into an idea for the indie music scene rather than just going to mainstream artists. I've helped app companies that are doing martial arts and fitness. There's just been a number of different situations where I've really helped business owners take another look at their business from a whole other perspective of the scientific side of not just having a good idea and hoping it sticks, but actually having some concrete foundations behind that idea. So that's really what I'm focused on, is trying to make sure that idea is actually going to last, that you're not just going to spend a bunch of time. So that's a big part of consulting businesses, is you actually have to teach them where their stop points are. So there's going to be a point in the business where if you're working on a strategy and it's not working, you've got to have some sort of breaking point where, like, to say, hey, this is enough. I can't continue to do it this way. I have to continue to move on and move forward. So and change my strategy, and basically what we call in the marketing space make a pivot. So that's kind of what I help my clients do, is just pivot their business ideas to something that actually is a little bit more realistic, that has more potential. So one of the other great things that I've been doing, on top of helping these businesses consulting, is improving their ideas, building their systems as well. So creating more efficient processes within their marketing and improving the actual marketing automation side. So we have some new people on our team that are actually really good at email marketing and creating those welcome emails as you bring a customer onto the team or into your company, as well as harvesting reviews and getting reviews for your business, which are really helpful of getting the word out, ranking on Google and doing those types of things. So as we've been evolving as a company, we've now kind of stepped into a new arena. And I've heard it from multiple customers, man, you're not just a graphics company. Like, well, why are you called Adrian Graphics? You should really consider maybe putting marketing in your name, being Adrian Marketing. And I'm like, I don't really like that, because, marketing is my specialty, and it's where my skill set lies, and specifically in more digital marketing nowadays than printing and some of the other areas, even though I have that experience. I've been really focused on helping these ventures grow in a lot of different areas beyond just the marketing side. So getting through all that, with the main idea that I have is basically we're working on a venture business where we're going to help people's ventures, and it's not just their marketing. It's going to be helping their venture actually build a solid foundation, and we're going to help them with their ideas and bringing solutions. And so I have some team members that are coming on board, that are already on board with me, that are incredibly talented, and they're going to be a huge part of this new venture together. And it's all about really building that momentum and building that team collaboration. So that's what all these people that I brought together, Joseph and Isabel and Brian and myself, and we have a few other people, but the team that we have now is really dedicated on helping other people. And so our value systems are all aligned. We are all about helping at-risk youth, and where mine is specifically at-risk youth, they also have a foundation for helping at-risk people, because that is another part of this whole equation, is not just youth is at risk. It's also adults that are in need of help, that are feeling overwhelmed and oppressed, and their things that have happened to them in their life are challenging them in ways that they just can't get unstuck. And so I really want to help those people, not just the youth, but help all people, especially business owners, that are feeling stuck. And so that's kind of the call that I'm going to be making today in this show, is not just the coaching versus the consulting and leadership, but I also want to make a call that if you're feeling stuck, whether it's in your life, in your business, or with youth, I'm here to help you. I genuinely care. I want to listen, and it's not just about communicating, but it's about connecting. So we're going to talk about that. But I'm Adrian Boycell. This is the Project Grow Radio Show. We're going to go to break, and when we get back, we'll chat with you more about leadership.
Levels too high?
Yeah, it was the headphone setting on the actual headphones themselves, on the jack where it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Cool. No more. You can say sorry or nothing? You're just going to sit there? No, it doesn't matter now. You didn't need to say it. All you have to do is say sorry. Come on. You know these are not good manners. You got to have good manners. It's very important. When you make a mistake, you say sorry. Kids.
And make them anxious and reluctant from trying again. Everyone makes mistakes, and no one is perfect their first try. I'm Adrian Boycell. This has been your Business Minute, and as always, keep looking up.
Handling payroll, workers' comp, and HR yourself is a big risk. If done incorrectly, it can cost you thousands of dollars and agonizing audits. You need a reliable company that looks out for you in all of these areas, and there is no better company than Premier Personnel. Family-owned and operated, Jennifer and Scott will provide the highest quality service at a cost you can afford. Call Premier Personnel at 888-915-0806 or visit them online at ppfsp.com.
Hey, are you building real wealth with Bitcoin? The more you know about the technology, the greater chance you have at making real money from Bitcoin. The local experts at Bitcoin City teach you the do's and don'ts of cryptocurrency and give you a deep understanding on how the technology works. In just 2 sessions, you will get the knowledge you need. And as Ben Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Enroll in the first ever crypto education class at btcoincity.com. That's btcoincity.com.
Funny 1055.
Oh yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the Project Grow Radio Show. I'm your host, Adrian Boycell, and we are here live in studio. And it's going to be an exciting show. It's already been exciting, but I've got a lot to talk about. I'm doing a solo show today, so normally I have a guest, and every once in a while I like to do a solo show, and I've just had so much on my mind, and I have so little time to talk to you guys. I felt like this was an appropriate opportunity to just have some one-on-one time with you guys to share some of my knowledge and information that I've been just gathering over the last few years on leadership and stuff that I've been researching, to try and really improve my leadership skills as a business owner, because I am not perfect. I'm always trying to work and improve, and I'm one of those people that's always pushing myself and very critical of myself. But one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on in my own personal development is the leadership side of the business, and really how to inspire and motivate people to bring out their skills and gifts that they have, the God-given gifts that are far above mine. And there's a lot of people that are more talented in other areas than I am. So that's really what I'm focusing on today, is just the coaching and consulting, like I talked about in the first segment, and what the difference is between the two, because I feel like a lot of people mix the two together and act like they're the same thing, and they're not. So if you missed that, you can go back and listen to it on the website, projectgrowradio.com. It'll be back up there tonight. And yeah, so that's going to be that. But I want to jump into the leadership stuff. But before I do that, I actually have some stuff that's really going to be the premise of what I'm talking about today, what really is the foundation of it. And it's our typical segment that we do called Book of the Week. So Book of the Week is something that I am constantly reading books. I'm going through book after book after book, some of them on Audible, some of them I actually read them. And one of the books that I'm starting right now that I'm actually going through is called, it's by Robert Townsend, or Bob Townsend, and he was the CEO of Avis Rental Car. He was a really, really well-known business guy, and he has the #1 book at the Wharton School of Business for over 50 years, and it's called Up the Organization: How to Stop the Corporation from Stiffing People and Strangling Profits. So that's the book of the week, is Up the Organization by Robert Townsend, Bob Townsend. It's an amazing book. It's kind of a Bible for business owners in the sense of leadership. It's a really, really important thing, and it's based on some principles that I was researching, type X and type Y, which I can talk a little bit about. But the quote of the week goes right along with it. Every week we do the quote of the week. So the quote of the week is from the book, and that's typically what I do. Is I like to have my favorite quote from the book, and so I'm going to go ahead and read this quote of the week. True leadership must be for the betterment of the followers, not the enrichment of the leaders. In combat, officers eat last. So that's a really important thing. Is there's actually a few other books that have been written called Leaders Eat Last. I don't remember. I think that was Simon Sinek. But it's really important that you have that mentality as a leader, is that you're not first. You're not putting yourself over and above people. That's not leadership. So that's really what this is going to be the premise of this next section for leadership is all about. So there are two types of people that they talk about in the book. Type X are Type X people are the ones who refuse to work until they have some sort of external motivation to do it. And Type Y, they love to work for the sake of it. But in the cases of strict supervision and reward systems, they feel dissatisfied and betrayed. So if there's not a good reward system, or some sort of, if there's like a strong supervisor or micromanager in place, they're going to become very dissatisfied, and they're going to feel betrayed by the company. So that's really important to keep in mind, of those two types of personalities, the Type X and the Type Y. And according to Bob Townsend and a few other people that I was researching, the Type X people are a thing of the past. So that's something that's becoming less important. So you really have to give people the truth of why they're there, and line up with their values, and not micromanage. And really, you have to put in good reward systems and good bonuses and to keep people around. So it's really important that if they work hard and they put in their investment of their time, which is more valuable than money, that you're going to reward them in some way long term for that. So that's really important. And so there's a few false assumptions that I was reading about, but I think the one that stood out to me the most is false assumptions that people hate work. And it's not the truth. They don't. And like I was just saying earlier in my earlier segment, I love working. I enjoy what I do, and if you are in the field that you're supposed to be in, and you're doing what you love, it's not work. And people say that lightly, and they say it in passing, but it's really true. If you really, really love what you're doing, it's not work. So that's how I feel every day when I show up to work, is I'm not going to work. I'm going to do what I love every day. I'm going to help business owners. I'm going to work on ideas. I'm going to build fascinating things. I'm going to help people make more money. I'm helping people attain financial freedom. That's what I'm going there. And I'm getting to share my creativity and my passion with my team and collaborate with other people. So that's a huge part of it. So saying all that, I want to get into this next section that I have that is all about the leadership side of the business. And so there's a lot of misconceptions between managers and leaders that I really want to clear up. And it really ties in with the book, like I said, with Bob Townsend. But management is something that is of control. So people who are doing management, they are trying to micromanage, and there's plenty of those types of people out there. What the world actually needs are leaders. There's a shortage of leaders in the world, and so that's part of what I'm trying to do is build more leaders and encourage you. And that's why hopefully you're listening to the show, is to grow as a business owner, and it's called Project Grow for a reason. So the only things that you can really control in your business is time, quality, and money. Those are the three big things. And so those three big things are the constraints of management. And so quality, time, and money. And whichever one that you have that takes precedence in your business is going to cause the other two to suffer. So let's just take quality, for example. If you're focused on making sure that your product and your service is at the highest quality possible, that's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of money to produce. You look at companies like Apple and companies like Google, they have the highest quality products out there, and it's very hard for people to disrupt and compete with those companies because they have so much money and time invested into it. They got a really big head start. So if you're trying to jump into the business space and think you're going to compete with these big companies, you better have the money and the time and be willing to dedicate that time to do it, to reach that level of quality if you're trying to compete with them. If it's price, then if price is determining what your product or service that you have, then you're going to have to give up the quality. It's just the truth. You have to give up quality in order to make the price the most competitive price out there. And so as you continue to lower the quality, that's going to reflect on who your business is and who your brand is. And maybe you'll produce more volume because you have a cheaper price, but you can't do all three. You have to actually pick one and give it your time and give it your energy. And then the third one is, if time is taking the precedence, then you're going to have to change what you're doing. You're going to have to charge more because you're moving so quickly. And the faster that you actually move, the lower the quality is going to be. So when you're offering like fast service or something like that, then you're actually going to have to charge more for that priority rush service, whether it's like late hour service or a rush service. If you're a contractor, you're going to have to charge more for that time, which is typical. And the faster you do that, the lower the quality is going to be. So if you're rushing to do a job, they're going to be overlooking some things. And it's just like what we do with websites. If somebody wants their website in 2 weeks versus 6 weeks, then we're going to have to cut some corners, and they're going to sacrifice some of the things that go into building a website, because a website isn't built overnight. It takes a long time to build it the right way. And a lot of people that I talk to are like, well, I have a guy that said he could build me a website for $500. I'm like, okay, go ask him how much time he's going to invest for that $500. How many $500? How many hours do you think he's going to put into your website for $500? How much is his time worth? If he's only worth $20 an hour, how much time is he going to put into that website? Just ask him that. That's all I need you to ask him. So I keep it very simple, because the truth is, to build a website the right way, the way we do it, which I know is the right way, which is the quality, it takes us anywhere between, at the lowest, 40 hours and sometimes up to 150 hours. And so if you do the math and you're making just a decent livable wage, anywhere from $75 an hour as a company up to 150 or more an hour, that is not a cheap website. So our prices are not on the lower side of the $500 side. We do have affordable options for people, but we have the highest quality websites, and we do not cut those corners. I won't put out a product that is low quality like that. So that's a really important part of it. So going back to the leadership side of things, the essence of leadership is, people are under leadership. The essence of leadership is, if you push people, like imagine trying to push a chain, which way is it going to go? You don't know. And so they are thinking and doing things that are unpredictable if you try to push people. But if you lift them up and empower them, then they will actually follow you as a leader. So that's really important. If you're going to be a leader, you actually got to jump in the trenches and do it with them. You got to partner with them. You can't just do this, do that, do this, do that. Like everybody tries to do in these leadership roles, and they think that leadership is about barking orders and trying to make people do what you want them to do. It's not about that. It's about partnering with them and empowering them and teaching them and lifting them up. It's really about empowering them and showing them that you trust them to be able to make certain decisions. And that's something I talked about in the Business Minute, is you got to empower people and show them that you trust them if they're going to return that trust. You got to put your foot forward and step forward and do that. So leadership has no ego. And what I truly believe is that when you actually give up power to the people that you're working with, they actually will give you power back. And when you give that power that they're giving you back in return, it's gonna continue to increase, and they're gonna continue to increase. So you're pouring back into them. And so to grow further, you have to give. And all that power you've been given, you just have to keep giving it back to them. And it's going to really, I mean, you look at some of the leaders of the world and what's his name, Gandhi, and some of the big, Ronald Reagan, some of the most amazing leaders of the world, they gave everything back to the people. And that's what's the key is as you continue to give back to the people, they're going to keep giving back to you. But you don't want to accept the power. You want to give it back to the people so that they can lead. So we have to go to one more break. But when we get back, we'll chat more about leadership. I'm Adrian Boycell. It's the Project Grow Radio Show. Thank you for listening.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you looking for more natural, drug-free solutions for common healthcare issues for you and your family? My name is Dr. Tim Smith, and I am the host of Family Health Solutions Radio Show here on Money 105.5. Every Monday from 2 to 3 p.m., we are talking about natural preventative health solutions for the entire family. Make sure to join us every week, 2 to 3 p.m. here on Money 105.5 and help improve the health of your family.
Did you know that nearly 200,000 women will be living in shelters this Mother's Day? That's why Two Men in a Truck created Movers for Moms, a program that partners with youth and local businesses to provide these moms with necessary items to be donated on Mother's Day. If you'd like to donate items such as shampoo, slippers, pillows, and other much-needed necessities, please stop by one of their donation sites and get free tickets to Fish Fest. Go to twomeninaTruck.com/Movers for Moms to find a location near you, or call 916-852-7411.
Hey, are you building real wealth with Bitcoin? The more you know about the technology, the greater chance you have of making real money from Bitcoin. The local experts at Bitcoin City teach you the do's and don'ts of cryptocurrency and give you a deep understanding of how the technology works. In just 2 sessions, you will get the knowledge you need. And as Ben Franklin said, an investment in knowledge is the best interest. Enroll in the first ever crypto education class at btcoincity.com. That's btcoincity.com.
Handling payroll, workers' comp, and HR yourself is a big risk. If done incorrectly, it can cost you thousands of dollars and agonizing audits. You need a reliable company that looks out for you in all of these areas, and there's no better company than Premier Personnel. Family-owned and operated, Jennifer and Scott will provide the highest quality service at a cost you can afford. Call Premier Personnel at 888-915-0806 or visit them online at ppfsc.com.
Money 105.5.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is Adrian Boycell, and you've been listening to the Project Grow Radio Show. If you're just tuning in and you've missed this episode, I really encourage you to go back and listen to it on Spotify or on the app or wherever you can. It's projectgrowradio.com. You can look at it on the website. And I would just really encourage you to take some action today. I feel like some of the things that I've talked about so far will really help you in your business significantly. So what I've been talking about is leadership, and then I've also been talking about what managers are versus leaders. And so there's a lot of managers out there, and what I really truly believe in leadership is that leaders are the most valuable commodity on the planet. It's something that Bob Townsend said in his book, and I really believe that. And they're really one of the rarest commodities. It's hard to find a leader versus a manager. There's a lot of people that are going to college to get their master's degree, and really what that's teaching them is to become managers. And so if you really want to be a leader, you really need to empower people. So I'm going to continue on what I was talking about in terms of leadership, and I'll just continue. So when it comes to leadership, like I said, you have to give back the power they're giving you back to the people. You want to empower these people to take charge and to be able to give them trust and be able to support them when they have shortcomings. So if they fail at something, not barking orders at them and condemning them for their mistakes or judging them and giving them a second and a third chance, I think is really, really important. And that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do better, is to give people those chances and to help them improve each time. Just because they fail the first time doesn't mean that they can't do better the next time. And so that's something that's really important. And so that's what I feel leadership is leadership is a gift. It's not something you can buy. It's not something that you can sell. And it's not something you can trade. You have to actually, it's something that you either have or you don't. And become a better leader, and that's what I'm trying to do is grow my leadership skills and learn some of the principles and the foundational things about leadership, not just for my business. That's not what this is all about. I'm trying to become a better human being every single day and grow. And that's really what the show is about. Is yes, this is a faith-based business show, but the premise of the show is to grow as a human being and to continue to try and be the best person that you possibly can. So what I truly believe is some people have that leadership quality and some of them don't. So if you're not a leader and you're more on the follower, you're the right-hand man to somebody, don't try to be something that you're not. And I think that's really important as well. So I want to kind of talk about something that I have that's been going on in the office, and something that's not just in the office but in my personal life, and really trying to connect with not just my customers but my employees as well, and people that are working for me and trying to help me with my vision. And so my vision is to really build the #1 agency in town, not just as a graphic design and branding agency, but as a truly beneficial creative agency to be able to help creatively and strategically help grow businesses. These entrepreneurs come to us and, like I said, they're stuck. And whether it's a personal thing in their life that they're stuck on or a business thing that they're stuck on with sales and things like that, I want to be the person that they can turn to, that they can pick up the phone, that they can come by and they can tell me those things, and that they actually feel like somebody is hearing them and that they're connecting with them. And so that's something that I've been growing with. One of my really good friends who I had on the show, I had this long, hour-long conversation with him, Brandon Leone, and we talked about how communicating is not connecting. And where I've been really good and I've been learning how to communicate from the radio show and speaking and doing all these different things and reading a lot of books, I've been really struggling to connect with people. And a lot of that stuff comes from my childhood of things that I encountered and experienced and the way I was treated as a kid. But I'm really trying to connect with people on a human level beyond just the business side. And so that's something that I'm really focused on and really trying to improve, is connecting with people. So in the past, when people would share their life struggles and I would hear people tell me about their problems and their relationship and their work and this employee and that employee, and I have my own struggles, I would immediately disconnect because I'm trying to keep it business, I'm trying to keep it professional. Most of the time I'm talking about business, so I would immediately kind of disconnect and try to revert the conversation to something that I wanted to talk about. And that's not being compassionate. That's not what the Lord would do, and if that's not what the Lord would do, that's not what I want to do. I'm continuing to try and build myself to be more like Him and to become a better person. So I want to be more like Jesus, I want to be more loving, and I want to be more compassionate. So some of the things that I have to do is actually show that compassion to people and meet them where they're at in their struggles, meet them where they're stuck, and meet them. And so I've had some really long conversations over the last week about it, and I've talked about it many times in the show where I feel like the calling on my life, and I know the calling on my life, is to help at-risk youth like I was when I was a kid growing up on the streets and being homeless and all the things that I had to deal with as a kid. That's where I feel I'm most called to, but it doesn't get rid of the fact that there are at-risk adults too, and there's people that I meet that are business owners that are at risk. And just because you're a successful business owner doesn't mean you're not dealing with some things in your life that are making you feel stuck. And so that's something that I want to really be a resource for people for, is to make sure that if they're feeling stuck in their personal life, that I care about that. That I'm not just trying to communicate what my needs are or what I'm trying to help them with or what I think they need to do, but I want them to share where they're feeling stuck and what their problems are and where they need help from. So that's a big part of it, and that's something that I'm continuously working on. And that really, when you do that and you actually connect with somebody, you start to build that relationship. And so that's something that I've really been trying to work on, is building more relationships. I have hundreds of friends. I talked about this with my fiance. I have lots of friends, but very few of them I have actually been making an investment into them. And so for me, that's one of the things I'm pushing right now, is to start making a bigger investment into those relationships, into those people, into their daily lives. And some of them are based on business and helping them grow their new ideas and their new businesses, but I don't want people coming to me and wanting to be friends with me just because they're a business owner and they want me to help them because they know I'm good at business. I want to invest into these people, into their lives. And if the byproduct of that is helping their business and helping them maintain some financial freedom, then that's amazing. But that's not the root of what I'm trying to connect with people for, is the people that I care about, that I have friendships with. I'm trying to make a consistent effort to start pouring in and investing into them. And I mean, Project Grow is all about growing. If you want to grow something, how do you do it? You invest, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to invest not just into my business, not just into my family, but also into my friendships and into my health. I'm trying to have a healthy balance between all those things. I've made a significant investment into my faith, into discipleship. I'm even going tonight for my discipleship class. Like, the things that I care about, I invest in. And that's something that I've been, honestly, to say I haven't been making an investment into my friends. I've kind of abandoned friendships, and because in the past I've been burnt by a lot of friends, and it kind of makes you jaded towards people, and that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be jaded towards people. I'm not going to let the world change me and change who I am. I love people. I want to have relationships. I want to pour into people, and I want to make those investments. And so something I was reading I got this amazing Maxwell Leadership Bible, and so I was really reading through it over the week and trying to just really find the leadership qualities in this, and that's who I really feel like I was called to be, on the at-risk youth, but to be a leader. And a teacher as well. I really feel like teaching is one of my gifts. So if I want to be a leader, one of the things about leadership is having those values. And those values supply the power that actually drives the leadership. So there are 4 separate things I want to talk about quickly here that are really important. Number 1 is real leaders liberate the oppressed. That's something that's really true. There are oppressed kids, there are oppressed human beings, and they're feeling stuck and oppressed at where they're at. And that's what a real leader does, is they're going to go in and they're going to bring in the truth and the word, whether it's the word of God or word of encouragement. They're going to help these people get unstuck and remove that oppression from their lives. And one person can't do it, obviously, but you can help lead that person to that freedom. And that freedom is so valuable. And so for me, what I'm constantly doing is leading them to the freedom and to the truth that they are loved, and trying to show them who God sees that they are. They're valued, that He gave everything for them. And so if God's giving everything for someone, what does that say? How worthy are they? And the fact that He says that you are worthy of His love. So that's a really big thing that can help people see freedom, is knowing how Christ sees them and knowing what He gave up for them, which is really, really important. Number 2 is sharing resources with the needy. And the needy isn't just somebody that's on the street that you're handing $1 to. Resources can be helping with their business, helping with their health. Like, I have a really close friend of mine, and this ties in really well with the story. A good friend of mine, and I've done business with him for over a decade. He's the hardest working guy I know. Truly, he is the number 1 hardest working guy. He's worked 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every single day for pretty much as long as I've known him. He's taken like 1 vacation in 2 years, and he just work. And my buddy Rich, I'm going to give him a shout out, Rich. And he asked me for a banner a few years back, and it was a business deal, and I've helped him out a lot over the years, and he's brought me some business, but I didn't give him the price that he wanted on the banner, and so he went elsewhere to get the banner done, and I was a little offended by that. So I pulled back a little bit and was like, man, what's up with that? I've taken care of you, I've always hooked you up, and just because the price is a little bit higher, you're gonna go elsewhere. So that affected my friendship a little bit with him, and I didn't really reach out anymore like I was. I wasn't investing in that friendship that really meant a lot to me, and I don't care for him any less. I was just not reaching out and making the investment anymore. And that's something that I'm really guilty of doing in the past, and it's something that I don't like. It bugs me when I invest my time and energy and effort into someone and pour my heart and soul into them, and then they don't reciprocate. And so, then they basically, where I feel abandoned. And that, like I said, it comes back to my childhood, where you feel abandoned. And so what I was doing in return is I was abandoning that person. The one thing that I don't like to do, or that I don't like done to me, I was doing back in return to them. So that's something that I'm really trying to grow in and focus on not doing and growing past, is when someone isn't willing to reciprocate, that I just continue to invest and continue to invest and continue to connect. And not just invest, but connect with that person and show them that I actually care. And so I recently talked to him a couple of days ago about a catering thing to help with a wedding that I have coming up, as you guys know. And after talking to him, he's got some things going on in his life that my heart is heavy for him. So I've been lifting him up in prayer every day. I'm bringing it to the Lord to help him and his wife and his kids and his family really move past what I feel is just a genuine attack. And so, like I said, the needy isn't always somebody that is homeless or on the streets. The needy can be someone right next door to you that you haven't even gone and introduced yourself to and stepped out in courage to do something outside of your comfort zone. The needy could be someone that you work with that you may not even like very much. Doing something different and changing the way you're looking at it and changing the lens that you're looking through. That's what I'm trying to do, as I'm trying to change that lens and change that perspective of how I'm approaching situations. Number 3 is providing shelter to the homeless. That's something that I've done on occasion, and it's caused me a lot of stress, but I think it's really worth it, and it's something that I want to do more. And whether that's an at-risk kid or a foster family, that's something that I really feel is important to do, is give people shelter. We have so many people that are out on the streets that could just use a bed and a warm meal, and so I think there's a lot of power in that, and that's where true leadership is. And then lastly, number 4, I'm just going to say it real quick, is supplying clothing to the naked. That's something that the Lord calls us to do, is give people clothing. If you have extra clothes, give it away. Give it to Goodwill, give it to whoever you can. And then the last one is stop accusing and judging others. So we're going to go to break. I'm Adrian Boycell. This is Project Grow Radio Show, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Adrian Boycell, and this is your Business Minute. Many think that part of growing a company is you being the owner and CEO, is being in control and having to make all the final decisions. The problem with that approach is when you have so much control, you're creating a number of different problems. First, you're not empowering your team to make any decisions without you, and you're going to slow down your process. Secondly, the problem is you've locked yourself into the business as the main cog on the wheel, and it's going to be really difficult to change that culture leader. Lastly, your time will be stretched way too thin, and you will not have enough time to get everything you need done. So here are 3 tips to help you change that control. Number 1, trust others. By trusting in those that you bring on your team, you're giving them the opportunity to learn and grow and become leaders that you need them to be in your growing company. Number 2, prioritize.
If you guys have any questions you want to ask, I'd be happy to answer them on the air.
Delegate those tasks to the people that you trust on your team that you feel will handle it the right way. And number 3, give recognition. If a team member makes a mistake with a task that you assign them, stop and thank them for trying. Getting upset is going to shut them down and make them anxious and reluctant from trying again. Everyone makes mistakes, and no one is perfect their first try. I'm Adrian Boycell. This has been your Business Minute, and as always, keep looking up. Hey, are you building real wealth with Bitcoin? The more you know about the technology, the greater chance you have at making real money from Bitcoin. The local experts at Bitcoin City teach you the do's and don'ts of cryptocurrency and give you a deep understanding on how the technology works. In just 2 sessions, you will get the knowledge you need. And as Ben Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Enroll in the first ever crypto education class at btcoincity.com. That's btcoincity.com.
Handling payroll, workers' comp, and HR yourself is a big risk. If done incorrectly, it can cost you thousands of dollars and agonizing audits. You need a reliable company that looks out for you in all of these areas, and there is no better company than Premier Personnel. Family-owned and operated, Jennifer and Scott will provide the highest quality service at a cost you can afford. Or visit them online at ppfsp.com.
Do you need push-button heat with no batteries, no microwave, and no cords? Introducing Hot Shots, a must-have heat source for any cold weather activity, aches and pains, and more. Hot Shots reusable heat packs come in many sizes and provide hours of soothing heat. Yes, reusable.
I can answer some questions, guys.
Warranty. Don't be left out in the cold. Call 916-214-6943 or visit reusableheat.com. Hot Shots, instant portable reusable heat, anytime, anywhere. That's reusableheat.com.
Are you sick and tired of dealing with flaky graphic designers and web designers who always overpromise and underdeliver? We have a solution, and it's called Instagraphics. It's an on-demand graphic design and web design service allowing you to get your website or your graphic design project
What's
done
up, Mike?
the same day.
Don,
All you gotta do is download it for free on the Google Play
Aaron,
Store.
Darnell, what up, buddy?
Okay, here we go.
Resources to help you grow your business. Check it out, Instagraphics.com, or download the Instagraphics app for free on the Google Play Store.
21055.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to the Project Grow Radio Show. We're a faith-based business show where we've been talking today about leadership and management and what consulting versus coaching is. So if you've missed this show and you're just now tuning in on the radio, I thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time. But this is a great show. I think you could learn a lot from it. And I hope there's some gold nuggets that you've been able to pull out of here from people who have been listening to the show. I thank you so much. And I've been getting some emails lately. So I think the new time, we're at 11 o'clock time now, is actually working. I've never really gotten any emails before. And so now that I've been doing this 11 a.m. slot, and we're doing the show live, and I've had some really cool guests on. I got some really big ones coming up for you, some authors and some really cool stuff. So I want you to tune in. But if you've missed this show, you can definitely go back to projectgrowradio.com tonight and check out the show, pick up the gold nuggets that I got for you, and hopefully it helps. And if it does, I would love to hear from you. So shoot me an email. I love to get to know people. I want to build relationships with people. If I don't know you, it doesn't matter to me. I'm open arms to just building new friendships and new relationships with people. So if anything I said rang true, I'd love for you to connect with me. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram. We're all over the place. So at Project Grow Radio, you can find us. We're pretty easy to find. And like I said, projectgrowradio.com. So before I went to break, I was talking about leadership, and I was covering 5 different points that I felt were really important parts of the value of leadership and what drives leadership. And so number 5, that I kind of got cut off because we went to break, but I really wanted to talk more about this is, and this is somewhere where I feel like people who are not Christian judge Christians, because Christians are very, very commonly judging other people and accusing them of not living in the right way and doing things wrong and being judged and going to hell and doing all those things. And I think that is not the right approach, and that's not how Jesus would be if he was here on earth today. I think about him all the time as a human being when he lived on earth, and there's so many years that he wasn't, they didn't follow him, from the time he was a kid till he was 33. But during those times, as a teenager growing up and going through all the human things, I just imagine some of the funny stuff about him and who he was as a person. And that's somebody that he's my best friend now, and somebody that I always lean on and trust and rely on. And so who he is as a person and how he would look at situations is really what I'm trying to do in my own life. And so, when you hang out with somebody every day and you invest time into them and you spend, a lot of time, you start talking like them, you start acting like them, you start saying things like them, and you start saying things at the same time, and hey, Jinx, you owe me a soda, that kind of thing. And so I think it's the same thing with a relationship with Jesus, is the more time you spend with him, the more of investment you make in him, the more you're going to start acting, looking, and feeling like Jesus. And not that we can ever be him or even come close to him, because he's the God, the son of the one true King, but we can start being more like him every single day and continuing to grow in that direction. So Jesus as a friend, and someone that would, if he was with me today, standing next to me or meeting someone, he would not be condemning that person, he would not be judging that person, he would not be accusing that person. He would treat them with love, and he would teach them and lead them as a true leader. He's the best example of leadership you can ever find. So if you don't have, I have this book that I've been really relying on and has been a big part of my life over the last few months, I'd say 3 months since Christmas, is John C. Maxwell's Leadership Bible. It's a really amazing book. It's a really amazing Bible, but it's also kind of a book. It has some cliff notes in there that John C. Maxwell has written, stuff on leadership, and I feel like it's a really powerful book that can help you as a leader grow, because it's really helped me. So I want to just share that with you real quick. But judging other people for the bad choices that they're making, all you can really do is lead by example and try to help them see the choices that they're making and how it reflects with the Word of God. So that's one thing I want to tell you, is don't condemn people, don't judge them. That's not how a good Christian should be. And if you are a Christian and you are that way, maybe it's time to take a look at yourself and look inward and just really start focusing on building a loving and compassionate outlook of people. Because like I said, communicating something to somebody isn't connecting with them. They're not going to connect with that. So it's really important that you do that. So I hope that wraps up the leadership section. Everything I said is wrapped up in faith, so it's really important. But there's just a couple little tech things that I wanted to share with you guys that I thought was really cool and some interesting news. The first one is Google. Google actually has been making some big changes over the last year. They've been working on a big program for Google Mobile First. So Google is actually going to be focusing and emphasizing on the mobile side of the business, because primarily more people are on their mobile devices now doing searches than desktop. So they've been working on this big project within their Google algorithm. And if you're a marketing guy and you do any SEO, you know how crazy Google's algorithm is and how frustrating it can be at times, because it's changing and they do different updates and it's hard to stay on top of it. Well, now they just announced a major change on the way they're actually going to index sites that are mobile. So they're going to prioritize. If you're primarily searching for mobile device, they're going to show you websites that are mobile friendly first versus other sites that are not mobile friendly. So this is something I've already talked about, but this is actually like the legitimate posting and publishing of them saying, hey, here it is. Web designers, web guys, web developers, you need to get on this page and you need to start making the changes and the shift to making sure that all of your customers' websites aren't just mobile friendly, but mobile responsive. So that's a really, really big part of it. And the existing sites that are mobile friendly are not going to get demoted, and they're not going to. They've said that pretty clearly that they're not going to demote those places, those pages, but they're going to give priority to the pages that actually have a really good mobile experience, which is really important. Google's ranking systems for web pages are a holdover for days on a desktop web app. Let's see here. Typically, I just wanted to pull some notes from here. In many cases, as the desktop and mobile sites are the same, sometimes, however, mobile pages have less content than desktop. So that's the big thing for SEO. If you do any search engine optimization, you know that content is king. Content is really, really important. The longer the page is, the more keywords you have in there, what they call keyword density, the better it's going to rank. So you want to make sure that your website has a lot of pages, even on a mobile device. It's really, really important. On a home page, you want to make sure that you keep it clear and you have a really clean flow to the website, so that you're not pulling them away in a bunch of different rabbit holes. So that's really, really important. But yeah, Google's making a huge change, and I believe, let's see here, they have shifted a series of websites to mobile first index. It was noted on a how-to guide for web publishers. So they're going to be putting out some content and some information to help some of these people that aren't up to speed with the mobile stuff and getting them up to speed. And then the last thing on the tech news that I wanted to share is something kind of cool. I've seen a bunch of news going on with Apple. They've been dealing with a lot of losses recently, but the big thing that they're doing now is they're starting to give away more stuff for free and expanding like basically your storage space. So iCloud, a lot of people use iCloud. I use it. It automatically backs up my phone images and things from my computer. I have all Apple computers at my office. And so one of the cool things is if you're a student, which I'm not, but if you're a student, one of the things they just announced that they're doing is they're actually giving away free storage, free iCloud storage. So previously, they were giving away I think it was about 5 gigs of storage. Wasn't very much, and you had to basically upgrade if you wanted more storage. Well, now, they're actually bumping that up to 200 gigabytes, which is quite a bit. I mean, my hard drive, in my solid-state hard drive here on my computer, has like 250. So they're giving away a lot more storage, and this applies to students that have Apple IDs that are provided and administered by the school. So you'd have to ask the school about it, I guess. But I think that's a really, really cool thing that they're doing. So yeah, Apple's starting to give more things away. I like Apple. I've had a bunch of Apple phones. I don't have one anymore. I'm actually using an Android device. So let me see here. I had a couple questions on our Facebook Live that I wanted to see, and let me see if I can find it. What are a few resources that you recommend to someone looking to gain insights into becoming a better leader? Like I said, this one was asked by Ryan Yarbrough, so thanks for asking that, Ryan. But yeah, John C. Maxwell's Leadership Principles, and anything with this Robert Townsend. Check out that book, Up the Organization. It's a great book. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I'm going through it right now. So I thank you guys for tuning into the show. I hope you guys like the new time, 11 a.m. I'm really enjoying it. I got a lot more energy than 4 p.m. And make sure you tune in next week. I got a really good guest, and I thank you guys. So I'm Adrian Boycell. This is the Project Grow Radio Show. And as always, keep looking up.
And I help families change the way they view and manage their health with New Life Chiropractic.
We did it.
We did
it.
If you want to learn more about how you can start changing your life for the better, visit our office at New Life Chiropractic Rockland.com.
Yeah.
Or call 916-259-2682 and start changing the health of your family.
See you later, guys.
Today.
Hi, I'm George Chaidez, host of the Essex Mortgage Real Estate